What's up guys, it's Bye here. Today videos, I am going to tell you guys if Richer is still worth investing in 2021. So Richer is one of the earliest legendary commander in Rise of Kingdoms. Everyone should able to unlock him very early into the game. Most people referring him to one of the first gen commander. So Richard is by far still the best tank in Rise of Kingdom to date. Even the latest commander Trajan can't even hold a candle to him. Like when it comes to tanking, feel free to prove me wrong, but he is still the number one tank in Rise of Kingdoms. Uh, he's definitely not one of the best DPS commander, but he is the tankiest and the one with the highest survivability. Uh, Loss of damage reduction, very high healing capability here, healing factor here 1400, plus his force skill also increase more healing. So like very high survivability because he can bring back the slightly wounded units to into the fight. So that what make him the highest survivability commander in Rise of Kingdoms. Another thing make him can survive very long time is because people often don't target him a lot in like when it comes to like open field fighting. So uh Richard is definitely not one of the best DPS commanders, but he is the tankiest, right? And remember, there is a saying: defense is the best offense. So like if you someone who like into that ideal, you might consider investing in him. And again, right, sometimes too much offense is not always good. Like you can ask the player who use Genghis Khan, right? Like Genghis Khan is one of the cavalry commanders that have very high offensive capability. But you know, they're saying like defense is the best offense. Um, so some pros and cons for Richard. The pros is that he's super tanky, super high survivability, and very good debuff for the team. His first active skill can debuff up to like 5 enemies and reduce their damage by 30%. The cons. For him, I would say Richard is one of the slowest commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. Like he does not have any kind of like march speed bonus. And very low DPS as well. His active skill doesn't deal any damages. He doesn't have very high offensive capability. He has some like 10% counter attack damage bonus here and 15% attack bonus for infantry. But that is about it. Most of his skill had to do with either damage reduction or healing. So very low DPS. But something you can do to fix his cons, like instead of using T5 on your infantry marches, you can use T4, right? So for example here, right, I'm gonna show you guys to make up for his slowness. If you want if you want your marches to be faster, you can definitely using him with T4. So here I have my Richard Airtool flat with T4 here, but I can definitely remove my Airtool flat here. And for me to walk to the gate, it's gonna take me 9 minutes and 7 seconds. 9 minutes and 7 seconds there for my Richard using T4 to walk to the gate here, which is pretty far, like 81 kilometers away from my city. And what if I use my Charmatel with T5? Like, so Charmatel is a pretty fast commander with that 20% march speed bonus with T5. Is my Richard gonna be faster? 9 minutes and 30 seconds here, right? So like with T4, like I am much faster there. So that is one thing. One thing you can do to help with to make up for the slowness on the Richard. Another thing you can do is just to use more wind swap gear on him, right? So instead of using the Scarlet Howl here, I could swap it out. I can put in a wind swap boots here, which give more march speed bonus. I can definitely remove this one here. Like I can give up on some defense and give him a little bit more march speed bonus. So let's say, what if I put into those 2 actual wind swap gear? How much faster can I go to this gate now? Let's remove this one still here. It was 9 minutes and 10 seconds. And it's now to 8 minutes and 31 seconds. I just cut it down by 30 seconds right there for traveling. So that is some idea you can do to help with the slowness, like reduce the slowness on Witcher. You definitely have to give up on some stats there. That is definitely something you have to do, right? You cannot have both. And as for low DPS, right? So Witcher is a very low DPS commander. To make up for his low DPS, you definitely do not want to pair him with another low DPS commander like Charmatel or Constantine, right? Because they don't have very high DPS. You want to pair him with like a much higher DPS commander. You want to pair him with either Ethelflaed. Ethelflaed have a skill damage, pretty high attack as well, or Sun Tzu also have very high skill damage, 1,000 AoE skill damage with like skill damage increase. Uh, Alex could be a good choice as well. He might not have very high skill on the active skill, but he can deal like 1,700 damage with 10% chance. A very high attack bonus for infantry as well. So that is some other option you can do. You can pair him with YSE as well. Like so, like you definitely want to pair him with like other commanders that can deal very high skill damage. Leo might not be the best choice because his skill is pretty low. But yeah, that gives you some idea, right? There might be future commanders that can deal more skill damage as well. So that is something you can do to fix his low DPS. So, so like Richter is the only commander that I feel super comfortable using T4 to fight against other T5 players. Like if you guys watch some of my live stream or some of my other videos where I talk about him, like I often use my Richter with Ethelflaed using T4. You can see my setup right here, right? I have him set up as March number 4. And I am using T4, and I am like one of the pairings that I am feeling super comfortable using T4 troops, because like a lot of time I get very positive trade up even with T4, and I play super aggressive with him as well. And like a lot of time it's even better trades than my Grandu and Alex, like from and this is coming from my own personal experience, from like countless battle reports that I have with him, comparing his report with other commanders. It's just very good. So Richard is very good on the open field, and that is probably the only one thing he excel at. When it's come to a garrison or rally, he is somewhere at the bottom of the list when it comes to a commander choice. If you rally with him, it will take forever to take down anything. Like very low DPS commander. For garrison, his low DPS is not helping much. Plus his healing tore a lot of people off. People don't want to like die too much in the structure. Like he have very high healing, like 2,000, can up to 2,500 as well. So with all that, should you still be getting him in 2021 or invest more into him? If you are an infantry player, Richard is still a very good investment, like a very solid commander who can perform well in mass PvP. You will be able to save a lot of resource from healing and healing speed up with him. That is coming from someone who used him extensively, like for many fight, many KvK. If you're like a free-to-play player or low-spender player, and you look for like a tanky March, he is a very good choice in my opinion. And if you want like a commander that can do well in open field as well as in rally or garrison, Richard might not be the best choice for you. As I mentioned before, right? Richard is only excel at one thing, and that is open field. And if you are looking for a commander that can do something else, like for example, if you want a commander that can do well on the open field as well as rallying, you might consider looking into Grandu or Alex instead. And honestly, I think Richard is underrated. Consider how well he can perform in mass PvP. Maybe he's not performing well in some of the 1v1 testing that some people did, but I will mention many times before that never assess how well a commander can perform in mass PvP from a 1v1 testing. There are so many other factors in mass PvP that make 1v1 testing like pretty much like almost irrelevant. For me, like I can see myself using him for a long time as an infantry player. Like as I mentioned before, he one of the commanders that I feel super comfortable to use T4 with, and I plans to use a lot more T4 marches in the future to cut down on my resource cost it for healing. Um, like unlike my Guan, right? Unlike my Guan Yu, right? I get so for my Guan Yu, I get killed fast. Like my Guan Yu, I can get killed pretty fast, but at the same time, I also fill up my hospital very fast as well. So that is something you need to keep in mind as well. So like Guan Yu might not be the best choice. So like if you still watching the video to this point, like I assume you're thinking of getting him or like at least investing more into him. To help you a bit more, I will show you my talent trees that I have on him. Um, so I have a 3 set of talent trees that I often use. So like I used to have a Z talent tree for a long time, right? Tank talent tree here. In Z talent tree, I focus more on like healing, more defense stat, like giving him more stat boost. Can do very well, like very tanky. Can do very well in Sunset Canyon, Lost Canyon, as well as in open field when you kind of like don't have to chase down the enemy a lot. So this is the talent trees that I call a tank talent tree. Uh, and the other talent trees that I am currently using is the fast talent tree. So this talent tree can make up for that lack of mobility that Richard doesn't have. As one of the things that I mentioned, that one of the cons for Richard is he very slow. So I want to give him more march speed bonus. So some of the skill here that give more march speed bonus, which can help quite a lot. When it comes to like so this talent tree can work very well in mass PvP as well, like especially when your kingdom is kind of like on the winning side. You need to chase down the enemies. The talent tree work very well, and this one also work pretty well in Ark of Osiris or Osiris Leaks as well. Not very well in Sunset Canyon. So like recently I've been switching to a fast talent tree. Because I am in DN1, right? We getting a lot of like gold chests every day. So I am not super competitive in Sunset Canyon anymore. Like a lot of time I am letting other players getting to the top so that they get more speed up. I am not super competitive anymore in that aspect, and that is why I just switched to the fast time tree here so that I can focus more on Ark of Osiris and better. I like it. Like I like to have more mobility when it comes to KvK, to be honest with him. So that is another thing. So for me to use the fast time tree, I kind of like gave up some of the benefits, some of the advantages when it comes to a Sunset Canyon. So that is something you need to keep in mind if you also want to use the fast talent tree here. And the other talent trees that I have is a super fast talent tree. So in this talent tree, I maxed out pretty much everything that have to do with a march speed bonus here. But to do that, I had to give up on the medical supplies. Like it's okay. I think it's okay to give up on the medical supply on him here because like Richard have very high healing already. So maybe it is okay to give up on this skill right here. Personally, I've never used this talent tree here, but it could be something that for you to consider, that if something that you want. But two recommended talent trees that I would recommend for you guys is tank or fast here. I think for someone who do not have a like max research, I would strongly recommend you to just stick with the tank talent tree. It can help you survive longer on the open field. For someone who like focus more on Ark of Osiris, you might want to go with the fast talent tree here. But remember, when you use the talent tree, you're not gonna do very well in Sunset Canyon anymore. So those are the talent trees that I have on my Richter, and I show you guys what I use currently. I hope you guys find this video informative and help you decide whether or not you should invest in him in 2021. Thanks for watching the video, guys.